taking a live look outside at Arrowhead out there on this beautiful Sunday morning. About time we have those Chiefs back in town. Plenty of sunshine out there too. So if you couldn't already tell, it's going to be a definitely warm and unseasonably warm day out there as a whole. Game day in its entirety going to be sweaty and toasty by the time we get into the afternoon, but we will have some breezy winds out there to help us out from time to time. Get you a look at those breezy winds, and I have some updates to that Monday morning rain chance. Previously we had a first warn in place. That's no longer. I'll let you know what the new data is trending towards and what you need to know to get out the door on your Monday morning. But first, again, very beautiful start to our day outside. We're also keeping temperatures quite cool, currently right in those upper 50s and low 60s area wide. So we haven't really warmed up all that much quite yet. Still going to keep things nice, cool, and comfortable, at least for the next couple of hours before we then start to take those temperatures up into the mid 80s area wide. So just know that today and this afternoon is going to look and feel a lot different than what we're having outside right now. So if you want to get outside, if you maybe need to mow the lawn, do any yard work, now is the time to do it before it just gets all too warm out there. That warmth really comes into play in the late morning and early afternoon. We're talking mid 70s by 11, upper 70s by lunchtime, and then those low 80s by the time we get into the heart of the afternoon. Though we're talking mid to upper 80s by that point. So in a nutshell, this is today. It's that cool and comfortable morning before we then find very toasty feels going into the rest of your Sunday. So with that in mind, I also want to get you a look at how breezy it's going to be, because it is going to be noticeably so out there today. Winds going to try and get to about 30 miles per hour in the afternoon as a whole, but you can see here that wind icon coming on the board right when those temperatures start to get at their warmest. So that means that will try to help us out to stay not too sweaty out there. At the very least, that'll bring us brief relief every once in a while, mapping out wind gusts for you. Don't get too tied to an exact number or time on the map, but just in general, know that this is what our models are saying. It's going to be some pretty strong wind gusts at times coming in from the south and southeast. Those winds and wind gusts do look to strengthen into the afternoon. So that's going to be the breeziest part of the day, also the warmest part of the day, as I mentioned, before we then start to scale back those wind gusts slightly into the evening time, make those more manageable. That means that it's likely going to be a little breezy out there at tailgates. So make sure those tents are anchored down. Make sure that those paper plates and those napkins are weighted down too, and watch that grill very carefully. If a spark flies from it or anything like that, know that our environment's pretty dry, and with winds it can be harder to put those fires out. So just be very careful with any burning, grilling, anything like that you have going on today. With those gusty winds in mind, it can enhance fire danger out there. Once we get past this drier game day, though, until the evening, we could have some spotty showers. I'll get you a look at future track radar here in a second. We go into our Monday morning, which does look to be wetter than what we have today, but that first warn was able to be removed. New models, new information, and new data as a whole is starting to trend drier. So that's going to be something that we won't have to deal with quite as much of an impact of on your Monday morning. I know all eyes are on the Chiefs game, all eyes are on Arrowhead today, so let's chat about what you need to know and what you need to bring in to Arrowhead or to those watch parties, tailgates, things like that. Number one, t-shirt and shorts. We're talking summer-like heat, we're talking summer-like outfits, so keep that in mind. Jersey with shorts, things like that. Also, hat, sunglasses, really good idea. You can already see the sun bright in the sky out there, barely a clouds for now. So that means that UV is going to be pretty high. If you're not actively under a canopy or staying inside, make sure you have that sunscreen, because you could still burn out there today, even though we're getting later and later in the year. If you're headed out to Arrowhead, sealed water bottle, and just in general, way to stay hydrated. You need to be drinking lots of water today because it's going to be pretty sweaty out there. Here's a look throughout the rest of the late afternoon and then evening time after the hottest part of the day, which of course is right around 3-4 p.m. After that, we'll cool down barely until kickoff, maybe in the upper 70s by then, and then finally trying to get slightly more comfortable as the evening goes on, but clouds will start to pull in as we round out that game, round out our weekend. That will not shield us from the heat of the day, but it will keep us warm overnight. So that's going to be a change that you'll notice if you look up later this evening. High temperatures today, low to mid to some of us getting closer to those upper 80s. The farther west you go in general, the warmer that it does get today. So here in Kansas City, we're right in the middle of that 85 degrees. And then we start to bring in those clouds overnight, which really force us to struggle to cool off. Some of those clouds may also bring a low-end spotty chance of rain late tonight into early on your Monday morning. So we're going to bring in that 20% chance right around 10-11 p.m. Not going to impact the game, but you might just find some sprinkles on the drive home. We boost that rain chance though into Monday morning to a 30%, which is lower than originally forecasted. And then we look to find potentially more rain in the afternoon hours rather than during that morning commute. So since that time frame has shifted, and in general, since we are trending drier on your Monday, that first warn has been able to be dropped. Let's step you through future track radar. There's those clouds coming in later this evening, essentially right after sunset, and then spotty showers possible for a select few of us into the late night hours of your Sunday. Then into early Monday morning, you can still see those spotty showers trying to get up and about. They won't really do a whole lot, maybe bringing some of us some rain for that morning commute. This particular model is our newest data, and it is looking significantly drier than even last night's data. So that's why we've been able to trim that first warn out of the forecast, though rain still possible in the afternoon. You can start to see that green pulling on the map there, spotty to scattered showers possible, alongside maybe some brief isolated downpours going into dinner time, but that's pretty much it. So even that evening commute home, really not looking too impacted by rain. You might just have to use the windshield wipers. You might find a couple puddles out there, but even with that rain, we're not talking huge accumulations. I'll show you exact potential rainfall estimates here in a second, but first really want to drive home the point that first warn was dropped for tomorrow. We'd been talking Monday morning commutes for quite some time, but the newest data looks drier. Our atmosphere in general is looking a bit drier. Showers still possible, so we're still keeping a pretty decent rain chance on there at 40%. But it no longer is enough to keep that first warn status. Here's how much rain we could get. You'll notice it is not impressive by any means. At the absolute most, we're talking 1 to 2/10 of an inch, maybe some isolated spots catching closer to 1/4 inch. If you get locked under an isolated downpour, that's possible, or maybe under a very isolated thunderstorm, that's possible too. But we're not talking flooding concerns, and we are not talking severe weather concerns for your Monday either. As we go into Tuesday, we really start to dry things out yet again. We hold on to some cloud cover. Both of those days will also be much cooler than what we have today, so that will be some nice relief. A cold front that does drive the smaller rain chances will be able to cool us down efficiently for a few days, but we will head back up to the 80s by Thursday, then bring in potentially another cold front and some new rain chances Friday and Saturday. You can see those new rain chances there on your screen, 30% for both Friday and Saturday. So that could look like some showers and thunderstorms accompanying a cold front trying to take us into the weekend. I have that 30% chance of rain on Saturday because it could be pretty wet if that cold front really gets to work out there. Security Bank 7-day forecast shows you the exact same thing as we round out the upcoming work week and go into next weekend. So at least while we are warm right now and it will be the warmest day of the next 7, at least we are staying dry. Monday, again, first warn dropped, 40% chance of rain and maybe a stray rumble of thunder before we then gradually get the clouds out of here. Wednesday and Thursday, warm back up to the 80s, then drop back down to those mid to upper 70s, both Friday and Saturday. Overall, Still too warm on both sides of the clock for this time of year, and we still need more rain than what these rain chances do look to bring us, but we will take what we can get in both departments, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Sunday.